Music cued. Check. Presenters ready. Well, 2 out of 3's not bad. This is TigerTails Radio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everything else in between. Thank you very much for joining us for this episode of TigerTails Radio, Season 15, Episode 1. We are here for the beginning, and I am TK Tiger. You may recognise me from previous seasons of TigerTails Radio. You may also recognise Mr. Xavier Wolf.
Hello. I am here. It is Monday.
Enthusiastic as always. And we have an echo.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Who doesn't know where to look?
No, that's it. I just look wherever, all over the place.
Yeah, the trick is the camera, darling. We've been through this. And
yeah, I know.
We have a special guest for our first episode of Season 15, our first proper episode of Season 15. We have the venerable Mr. Carl Gold. Hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to join your very long-running radio show.
The Cavalcade of Madness, as we call it. Yeah, well, thank you very much for coming down. It's an absolute delight to have you here. One that in 19 years I've thought would never happen, really. It's like we never get anyone posh or important coming along, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, now November's happened and we've got one. And
we won't mention the technical issues that were happening and where it nearly didn't, but moving on.
And also, I'm going to jump between things a bit, but on the 27th of November, let's go back to me. On the 27th of November, we've got another special guest lined up as well with Husketeer, which is going to be fun. So hopefully we get to do all this again. But, Mr. Xavier.
Yes.
How are thee? In a brief.
I am good. Are we doing a brief week, are we?
A very brief one. I won't bother with the jingle.
Okay, no jingle. So yeah, so basically, we technical issues.
We'll see.
We'll see. So brief outline. We typically do a quick review of how the week's gone on because this is kind of a catch up. Historically, this used to be mine and TK's like day off, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday weekends. So we would catch up from what happened last week. What happened for me last week? I was on holiday.
Nice.
So I did nothing. I spent a week trying to get my back into a reasonable shape.
Awesome.
Yeah, my upper back is twinging because I am old. So it's been like stretches, changing every position I'm sleeping in so that it's trying to stretch out. Great fun. And then doing as little as possible. Catching up on stuff on Netflix. And then because of booking time at work, because somebody else booked the time on Friday, I had to go into work on Friday.
Aw.
Yeah, so thankfully that Friday trains were not bad.
Why are we not?
And the weather was not bad. The weekend, however, that's when everything got terrible because we had the rain on Saturday and I was doing the buses and coaches to travel down to see TK and that lot in Southampton. And my God, that was a cluster.
On that note,
dear God.
Mr. Echo, how has your week been? In a brief.
My week, lots of work-flavoured stuff as usual. And other than that, I don't know. I didn't really do an awful lot this week. It's been one of those very slow weeks.
I don't mind a slow week.
Yeah, although the kind of run down to the end of the week was a little bit more mad because I'm on leave for like whoa.
Here we go.
Whoa.
There we go. Back to you.
Yeah.
Just you.
So it gets very scary when I suddenly can't see myself. But a little bit mad towards the end of the week because much like yourself, I'm off for most of November. So I think I'm only working. I worked 2 or 3 days at the beginning, a couple in the middle, and a couple at the end. And other than that, I'm on leave. So work kind of is going to fall apart for a few weeks. But oh well.
And then finally, Skull Gold. How have you been in the last, since forever, because this is your first time on the show?
Well, the last week's been very eventful because we were at Biggest Little FurCon, BLFC, in Reno, and that was interesting. They have moved to a midweek convention, as some of you may know, largely, as I understand it, because of hotel costs. So we weren't quite sure how many people would show up for a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday convention, but it turned out to be pretty populated. Some of the dealer's room was crowded much of the time we were there. I held a few panels that were well attended, awesome. And all the dances seemed very crowded. So everything seemed to go really well. We had a really fun time. We're looking forward to going back next year. It is, of course, easy for us to get to because it's just about a 4 to 5 hour drive. But it was a really fabulous time.
I love when people say, "Oh, it's easy to get to." It was only a 4 or 5 hour drive. For us, that's a long drive.
Well, yeah, that's most of the length of the country for us, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Mid country, yeah, mid country.
Yep. But yes. So for my week, come to me last, why not? I have been mostly doing NaNoWriMo. I say mostly; it's been taking up an awful lot of my week. And so far, just about the head of the curve. Squeaking by, but so far so good. But this is one of the reasons I was quite glad when it was like, managed to get Carl here, because it's like, for those of you who don't know, Mr. Carl, would you like to tell us, tell everyone else who doesn't know, what it is you do?
I have been writing furry fiction for coming up on 30 years, I want to say. And I have published, counting novellas and story collections, the book coming out in a week will be my 40th published book. Nearly all of them, maybe all of them, through furry presses, furry small presses. I am most well known for gay contemporary romance, but I've also written fantasy, mystery, science fiction, heist stories, and any other genre that I happen to find interesting at the time. So I've been doing this quite a while, and I enjoy it. I'm still enjoying it, being a full-time writer is the longest I've held any job in my life. So I feel like that's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, if you still love it, then keep doing it. And you've got fans, especially in the Discord channel. I know the jury was very, very happy to be hearing that you were going to be on, because it was like, I've got like loads of his books. And it's like, wow, congratulations. If you have any questions, there's a Discord channel. In fact, the jury, if you have any questions that you'd like, try sticking one of them in YouTube, because then I can test the thing to see if it works, which is always the fun of the first show of the season. It's like, hey, people, do things, and I'll see if they work. But yeah, I'm gonna confess that I have been lax in my reading of furry authors. I've read my way through the Red Wall series, read my way through the Warriors series, and through most of it. And the jury has just posted the list of the books he currently owns and has read by Carl. And okay, that's a list. That is an impressive portfolio. Both as what you've written and also what he's read. But yeah, in terms of furry authors, I've been lax. So when I was given the opportunity to read your new book, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, I was like, okay, let's see. And in the first 3 pages, I was like, oh my God, what have I been missing out on? Why haven't I done this sooner? So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Newfoundland. I've been kind of reading my way through it for the last few weeks. I'm about just past halfway through now. And oh my God. But yes, we'll about that later. Well, what made you start writing furry fiction in the first place?
I found Furry Muck. If I don't know, I know many of you remember Furry Muck. Some of you out there weren't born when it started, but
yeah, okay.
But I found Furry Muck in the early '90s and quickly fell in love with the furry community. And because I had always been an avid reader, and I had written stories for my science fiction club in college, I went out looking for where are the stories in this furry world, and I found furry zines. Yarf was the big one at the time, but there were a whole bunch of others. I'm blanking on the other one that was Paw Prints, I think maybe was another one. And then there were a whole bunch of what were known as APAs at the time, amateur press associations, where people would write write a couple pages a month, send it to the person who organized them, and that person would bind all the copies and then send them back out to the members of the group.
Oh, cool.
But there wasn't a lot in the way of real furry fiction going on except in these zines. And so I started writing some stories for the zines, and then a friend and I decided that we wanted to see if we could make up something with a more professional presentation for the fandom. And so we started Sofa Wolf Press in 1999. And then I enjoyed writing the stories in a furry genre more than I enjoyed writing any of the science fiction-y ones I'd been writing in college. So I just kept doing that.
And then it just grew from there. And so when So when did you start doing kind of non-furry, after you've started doing the furry fiction? I've been mentioned that you have done some non-furry fiction as well. Would I be correct there? Or have I been misled?
Well, everything novel length or even novella length that I've done has had some kind of furry component. You can argue how much you think the new book is furry or not. I would maybe not consider it furry fiction, but I would say it definitely has furry sensibilities.
Yep, there's certainly an element in there. I'll grant you that.
One of the ways that I think of differentiating furry fiction from non-furry fiction is that furry fiction, and again, this is my experience, if it's a useful definition, other people are willing to also take it. But in my experience, furry fiction has a focus on the physicality of being a furry or being in an animal form, whereas a lot of science fiction is people encounter furry aliens, and so there's furries in it, but the book doesn't really talk a lot about what it's like to be those furry aliens. And so I've written some fiction recently that has human protagonists and yet also has furries in the world. So I would regard that as maybe non-furry fiction, but it's not a whole lot of stuff that I've been doing.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I've got my convenient Kindle to hand because in the kind of the non-fiction sense of what you have put out there, there has been one book which caught my attention when we knew you were going to be coming on. And so I had a quick look at things that had been written. And there was one particular book which I'm just trying to get back to the start of so I can actually get the correct name for it, so I'm not misquoting this horribly. But it is called Do You Need Help? And literally, once you get past the forward and into the first thing, in the introduction, literally the first kind of point in there you put is that something which I think I'd been missing from my writing, and it says that the first piece of advice you've got is that the story should be about something, as opposed to the main plot. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. That was something that no one's ever told me before. And looking back, I'm thinking, that's what's been missing. So thank you. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
Because, I mean, out of all the the kind of stories that you write, what's your favorite something?
Oh, I was filling out an interview questionnaire recently where they were asking, why did you choose to write in the genre that you do? And as I've just sort of had outlined for you, I've written contemporary romance, I've written urban fantasy, I've written straight up magical fantasy, I've written horror, science fiction, anything. Like, I love all different kinds of stories, but I think my favorite thing to write is good characters. Characters are always my favorite part of a story, and I know that a story is going to work if I'm really excited to spend all this time with the characters.
Nice, yeah. 'Cause I must remember to change the camera when I'm either speaking, because I've got a habit of starting a character at point A, showing them where I want point B to be, and saying, "Off you go," and then basically letting them write themselves. Is that part of your process, or do you have something a little bit more structured lined up for your characters along the way?
I mean, that's a big part of it, because I feel like the story works better if you let the characters figure out the problems for themselves. I have more than once, and in a couple occasions I can think of in this new book, put the characters into a spot and said, "This will be interesting. Let's see how they get out of it." But I do keep in mind that if I want the character to go from point A to point B in an emotional sense, or a I'm not sure quite what the word would be in a like ethical or moral sense. This goes back to the message of what the book is about, and often it's about the character learning a lesson. And so I have to be a little bit school teacher in this, where if I want them to learn a lesson, I can't just hand them the textbook and say, read up, exam will be in a week. I have to actually show them why this lesson is important. And that requires, pushing levers and guiding things in the story so that they reach a point where they have to understand and really feel the lesson so it can take hold.
Without becoming Deus Ex Machina. Yep.
Exactly.
Right, there is a comment that's in the YouTube chat, which I'm now going to try and bring on the screen, if it will let me.
Shall we just read it out, TK? I feel things are breaking at a rapid pace.
Well, it's from Captain Draft, who says, please never stop writing. Girl, slowly been making my way through your whole collection, and every one of your characters holds a special place with me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's lovely to hear. As I said, characters are one of the things that are most important to me, and there's like a stable of very, very nice compliments to get, and one of them is when people love the characters and want to spend more time with them. Like that's just a wonderful thing to hear.
I've been enjoying my time spent with the lead character in your current book, whose name I read one way, but when I let the PDF reader read it out loud, it reads it another way. So...
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Is Nivi the correct pronunciation?
It is the correct pronunciation.
Yes, I was right. PDF reader's wrong. Ha! Yeah, but no, I must...
Out of curiosity, how does the PDF reader read it?
So instead of, it puts more emphasis on the end kind of being an A sound, so it's more like Neve. And it's like...
Oh, God.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not quite sure how it gets that, because the way it reads, it should rhyme with skivvy. And so I thought, Nivy sounds correct.
Yes.
But not Neve, which took some getting used to, but PDF readers are PDF readers, what do they do?
Speaking of characters then,
yes.
Both myself and TK have tried NaNoWriMo. We've tried doing little short stories and things, because we used to, when we all lived in Southampton a long time ago now, have like a little writing group to try and encourage. And one of the challenges we were always having was trying to get that connection, the characters to be a connection sometimes. So if you can boil it down to a process that you find works, what would you advise for someone trying to create characters in stories?
That's a good question.
It's a very good question. I think let me think about this. I think the character should be someone whose struggles you're interested in. We talk about starting a story with a character wanting something, and that's a good entry point for people. If you say, oh, this character wants to I'm trying to think of how Nivi starts out in the book. This character was part of a group and has lost his group and wants to get back to his group. And thinking about those kinds of things, even if you put it in a fantasy world where his group is a thieves guild and he's a thief, and I'm a fox, but that doesn't mean I'm a thief. And I certainly have not belonged to a thieves guild ever, but I think we've all had a common experience of, oh, this group is kind of cool and I want to be part of them. And giving a character a relatable want and a relatable goal like that is a big entry point to making a character that you can relate to throughout a story.
So that's for your own personal. So it's for you to begin with, it has to be relatable for yourself, or is it something you think your reader should also? Because I know that I've had discussions with people about that. It's like you got to focus on what the reader might, but personally, I tend to lean more towards I'm writing for the first person who's reading this, which is myself. So is that something that you lean towards more? It has to be your interest before readers, or does it need to be more something that the reader would have to be interested in? If that makes sense.
It does. I do find that the two go very closely together. And it certainly works the other way, where if you're not interested in something you're writing, it's a big ask to have your reader also be interested in that. But I think you have to start out writing for yourself, because you don't have any other audience at that point. And the process of writing throughout a career or throughout a lifetime is sort of a figuring out where those boundaries are. There may be things that interest you but leave your readers cold. And so, but there's definitely going to be a lot of overlap, because we're all people, and especially if you're writing for the furry community, we have a whole bunch of common interests already. You know, a lot of my books, especially the more furry ones, people will pick up and read 2 pages and then say, "I don't understand why everyone's an animal," and put it down. And I can't write for everyone, and you will never be able to write for everyone. So you have to start with yourself. As you gain more readers, you will get a feel for the things that you like and they like, and you will attract readers who are attracted to the things that you like as well. And so hopefully you end up writing in a space that makes you happy and finding a readership that is happy about the same things.
Cool.
Do you find though?
Really quite
Sorry, sorry. To give you Mr. Xavier. Do you find on that thought though, if you start writing, say, for instance, Jirian comment in the Discord chat just said the Devon Lee series is the anything that can be a bit of interest in football. Do you find that by writing something furry related but down that one genre, you attract the fans of that genre who are also kind of furry inclined? But then when you do something like, for instance, your current book, would you be kind of, everyone would hope to take their audience along with them into your new books as well, but would you expect any kind of a drop-off from that particular crowd, or to gain from another crowd when you're kind of writing? Or are you looking to mostly just target furries, or the kind of the general people who might be interested in the genre, if that makes any kind of sense from that weird ramble?
So one of the hope for the new book is that it finds an audience outside the fandom as well. It's very open to non-furries. It starts with human characters. I introduced the concept of people being turned into animals, and then you meet a character who has been turned into an animal, and gradually it gets kind of more furry as the book goes along. But it gets more furry in a way that mainstream readers will be able to understand and follow along with, as opposed to just dropping them into a world where everyone is animal people, and you follow them into the bedroom and watch in great detail what they do there, which is also not for everyone. I have found that Zootopia made it a lot easier to explain furry fiction to people, because you can just say, oh, it takes place in a world like Zootopia, but more like our world. But also, the things that Zootopia got right about furry worlds were an impressively long list, and among them were animal pun names on contemporary things, which is a thing that I and many other furry authors like to do, and we in the fandom in general love our animal puns. So it's gotten a little easier to introduce people to furry fiction. But let me see, going back to the beginning of your question, definitely jumping around in genres and styles as I have done, the people who are very excited about the Out of Position series are not necessarily also going to want to read an urban fantasy series that stars a human private detective, even if he has a werewolf boyfriend. So But many of them have, and the ones that don't follow me over, for them, I'm like, it's fine. There's a sequel to the tie game coming out. You will enjoy that. It has all the things you like in it, and I can just write the things that I like and hope that the people who have followed me this long will be interested enough to see if what I like is, even if they're not prepared for it, it's maybe something that's accessible to them.
Now, I must admit, having not read the Adquisition yet, now I've got halfway through your current book and I'm going, I've been missing out all these years. I am certainly making now plans to dive into the back catalogue a bit, because there's lots of things where I was like, not really interested in American football, but if the writing's as good as it has been so far in this book, I am willing to give it a shot. So you never know. There could be more money coming your way.
I will say that I have had many people write to me and say, I didn't care about American football until I read these books, and now I can sit down with my family and watch a football game and not be completely out of it.
I just don't understand why they have to keep stopping every 5 seconds, but that's just me. Right, we did have a couple of questions about NaNoWriMo as well pop up before we go into the Jackbox games.
Sure.
Yeah, Charleston Rat is one of our usual co-hosts, but wasn't able to be here today. But he did post a question earlier going, he's already 12k into his NaNoWriMo this year, and he's effectively completed 3 of his 9 planned chapters. Do you have any advice for achieving the target word count without resorting to expanding contractions and making characters pointlessly repeat conversations with one another?
I will confess that I was a practitioner in high school and college of change the margins and increase the font to get to the requisite number of pages. So I will tell you, if you're already a third of the way through your NaNoWriMo, a fifth of the way through the month, you're doing fine, and you don't need to worry about that. But the value of NaNoWriMo is in developing habits, and it very smartly gamifies it to the point where you have a goal and you have to reach the goal, and if you reach the goal by the end of the month, you get cheers and banners and so on.
Yep.
But the value in it, like, if you end the month of November with 49,998 words and you're typing the last one as the clock strikes midnight and you couldn't get those last 2 words in, that does not mean that your month was a failure or that you should have written out 1 more contraction. It is an exercise in developing good writing habits, which means writing every day, thinking about the story so that when you sit down to write, your time is more efficient. And there's, and that I think is what's more important than hitting the actual word count.
Yep, because I've got lots of NaNoWriMo kind of first drafts under my belt, and some of them hit word count, some of them didn't. But only one of them ever got to the end. And I have been very bad at actually going back and A, finishing them, and B, then taking them on to the next stage after that, which was actually going to lead me quite nicely into another quick question, which is, once you've got your first draft down, how do you go and refine it? What's your techniques for that?
So I will say, I believe if you're doing NaNoWriMo, I believe there is a Nano Editmo or Edimo, which I think is March, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
Okay.
When you're supposed to be editing the novel you wrote in November. But my process is, once I have a first draft, usually what I'll do is I will step away from it for a period of time, and that period of time varies depending on how long I've been working on the draft. If I've been writing it for on and off for a year or more, maybe I'll step away for a month or 2. if it's just been a really quick, like 6 months to get it done, then it might only need a few weeks. The point is that what I want to do is step away for enough time to let myself forget all of the things that I meant to put in, so that when I go back to reread it, I can try to be objective and see what I actually put in. I will usually do a first revision pass myself, and then, because I don't want to waste my beta readers' time catching things like, oh, he put his jacket on 4 times in this chapter and never took it off. Like little things that I can catch and will, or I thought this scene would be really neat. And in fact, that's because I had already written it in a previous chapter. So now I have to decide which one to keep. So I do a revision pass to catch all of that really easy stuff. And then I will send it to my beta readers, who will look at it and hopefully with different perspectives tell me where the story could be improved, what things are working, what things are not working. And then I take their feedback and make up a revision plan for the second pass, which will allow me to keep all of these changes kind of in my head as I'm going through the manuscript. If someone says, for example, this character, their voice doesn't seem consistent throughout the book, sometimes they're really sarcastic and sometimes they're very serious, I can go through the book and like specifically look for places where they talk and see how much of that I want to change. Usually after that revision pass, I have other people who will give it a read and will tell me if there's anything that I've missed or other problems that the first readers didn't catch. I'll do another pass, and then I'll do some proofreading. I will usually read the whole book out loud to myself so that I catch little language things. And usually that's enough to send it to a publisher.
Nice. That doesn't sound as much hard work as I'd been led to believe previously. You mentioned about beta readers, though. Do you also use sensitivity readers?
I do. I just want to say, when you say it doesn't sound like hard work, try reading an entire novel aloud to yourself. It's my least favorite part of that whole process.
Well, I meant by that was
every time I start doing it.
Oh, go
on. It's terrible. Yeah, every time I start doing it, it's terrible, and I have to remind myself that I catch so many important mistakes that way that it's necessary, but it's very tedious.
I'd always been led to believe you kind of do your first draft, second draft, then maybe a third draft, and then if it really needs it, a fourth draft. So just having kind of the once over, send to betas, take the feedback, and then do it from there. That sounds hard work still, but far less than I'd always been led to believe in terms of kind of steps to goal, if that's a better way of saying it.
Mm-hmm. But to your question, I do use sensitivity readers. For this book, the main character is a trans man, and I am not. So I hired a sensitivity reader to go through it and make sure that the character was being treated respectfully and that their experiences felt real. They provided some really useful feedback in that sense that also improved the story. And one of the things, if it's okay for me to share, I don't think this is a huge spoiler because I've already said that the character is trans, but I had originally envisioned that being made clear to the reader in a scene where they're kind of outed, and that was midway through the book. And what the sensitivity reader said was they should have agency over when the reader finds out that they're trans. Make it them telling the story as opposed to like, aha, gotcha, because that's not respectful. That's not the way the story wants to be told. And so there was an opportunity much earlier in the book to make that clear. And when I did that, I felt like that made the book much better in that sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I believe, I've got to the point where that revelation has been cemented, because without trying to spoil anything, it was kind of hinted earlier on, but yeah, it gets cemented with the whole story a bit later on. And yeah, I actually really did enjoy that part. I thought that actually went really quite well. But so before we get on to the main story, it is now time. We are running a tad late on that because it's been very chatty so far. But it's time for our first Jackbox game of the night. So I need to remember how to press buttons to get the jingles for that going. Let us press some buttons and enjoy some Jackbox.
You're listening to TigerTails Radio, giving Cards Against Humanity a run for its money. It's time for Quiplash.
I'm not hearing anything. I should be hearing things. There we go. Right, so if people want to join us for Jackbox, it's just head to jackbox.tv and enter in the room code, which is OJRO. And we shall see who we get. While we are waiting for that, there's been some YouTube comments as well. Captain Draft asks, will you also be adding to the stories, stories to an Amazon Kindle?
Most of my books should be available on Kindle right now. This one will be available when it comes out in just over a week. And hopefully, one of my tasks this week is to set up pre-orders so that people can actually pre-order the Kindle version. We have not done that yet.
We didn't know that was a thing. That will come in handy. But we have a full room. If people want to join the audience, they still can. People have. Excellent. Right. Let's start the show. Hopefully it's all displaying correctly for everyone in the studio.
Looks like it.
Sorry, there won't be any
And
audio,
now,
but there should be subtitles.
Quiplash 3, Quipadelphia. I'm Schmitty, but my friends call me, and then hang up. It's very annoying. Oh yeah, hey, if you're not playing, you can still get in the audience and vote. Put in the room code to join. This is round 1. I'm going to flash 2 prompts on your device. Type something ingenious that will stand up against another player's response. Then everyone will vote for their fave, and one of you will get an ego boost. Oh yes, points. You score points based on the percentage of voters who like your answers. Clear enough? Sure hope so. Let's go.
Alright, so for those playing, you'll have a couple of prompts to answer. Get with answering of the question.
As everyone immediately goes really quiet.
Yeah, this is normally the quietest bit of the show. Everyone's trying to think of answers.
I miss the days of the random audience question. That was always a good fun time.
There, I have some answers. I'm the first one in.
No, you cannot be the first.
I am the first one in. I have broken the curse, or the tradition, depending on how you want to call it.
We do have most of the game to go, so we'll see if you can't go back into form.
We'll see.
Yep.
There is one more question and answer round.
Well, and especially during this particular month of all months, being NaNoWriMo month, that's why you are well known for writing small novels in your answers, aren't you?
There is a word count. I use it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yes, you do.
A character limit.
Yeah, for you, it's a target. For everyone else, it's a limit.
Okay, let's see
Yep.
what you've wrought. Let's break the ice with no shirt, no shoes, no blank, no service.
Right, so we've got no shirt,
Okay,
no
pick
shoes,
one.
no blank, no service. You can have either wallet or pants.
Question is though, are we going like US pants or British pants? That's the question, isn't it?
I'm gonna
Well,
guess
it was the Americans who answered, and wallet was the
It
one that
did,
wins
yeah.
it. Sorry, the jury, but Corn Husky beat you this time.
Let's keep it going.
Xavier, your turn.
A good man is hard to
Okay.
blank.
A good man is hard to keep in a
Now
bed.
it gets real. Pick your favorite.
Retrieve from.
Say the words.
Okay. Retrieve from a fox's anus. There's an echoism there.
I think you killed Echo. Oh, it's Echo's
Yep.
answer, that's why, right? That makes sense.
That makes sense now.
It's also the winning answer.
Well, what can I say?
How about sorry?
Yes. Many sorries.
The
beat
quickest
me.
way to become
I'm only
the
half.
most
I'm only
popular
half
kid in
fox.
school.
It's
So,
your question.
you know. Okay. So the quickest way to become the
Here's
most
fun
popular
part.
kid in school
Pick your favorite
by
quip.
hacking vending machine or compliment their attitude. I think we know that one.
By hacking,
You know what's
so you mean putting a brick through the front of it?
No, that's far too violent. And yeah, I knew which one. that
Hacking
was
the vending
gonna be.
machine gets a quiplash. It's a super quiplash.
Indeed.
Well done, Jennifer.
Well done, Jennifer.
Let's see the next one. A fairy tale that never caught on. Blank and the Beast.
Right. Carl, do you want to try reading this one?
All right, vote for the one you like best.
If not,
Oh, yes, sorry. A fairy tale that never caught on. Blank and the Beast. Rabies or Twink Princess TK Tiger.
people obviously haven't seen my belly.
Well, they have, and they're being very optimistic.
Maybe that's why they never caught on.
Yeah.
The twink
Yeah.
princess. Yeah, not an apt
And
description.
here we have when your Roomba
There's
is
never been a
charging,
description of you,
what
has
does
it?
dream about?
Not really. Smear, maybe, but not twink. When your Roomba is charging,
All right,
what does it
choose
dream
your
about?
favorite.
Lots and lots of bubbles, or a free tariff rate?
Has anyone answered that?
Especially the cost of energy these days.
Yep.
And the free tariff rate wins it. I went for the bubbles. I like the bubbles.
Yeah.
Next we have,
This says much.
little known fact, Da Vinci
Sure.
liked to draw a little blank somewhere in his paintings.
Little known fact.
Right, go on then,
Da
Xavier.
Vinci. Okay, little known fact. Da Vinci
Decisions,
liked to draw a
decisions.
little
Choose your
blank
favorite.
somewhere in his paintings. Wow, we have been really clean on this one. Wow.
And the answers are?
Foxtail or eye?
Yeah, we have kept it clean. Well done, audience. And
That's
Foxtail
why.
wins it.
Not the host. Normally make it awful.
That must be the best behaviour.
Without further ado, modern pirates don't steal treasure, they steal
Modern
blank.
pirates don't steal treasure, they steal Bitcoin wallets or
And now, pick
fursuits.
your favorite.
Which one of those is worth more money?
Oh, in this day and age, it's hard to sell.
Yeah.
Definitely
Fursuits these days.
Yeah.
Depending where
Yeah,
you
I mean,
get them.
No, I'm pretty much generally across the board. They seem to be more than the mortgage people have on their houses these days.
That is true. And it wins. First
Next
is the
on
winner.
the docket.
Yep.
What used to have wings before God took away its power of flight?
Right.
And now it's time to vote for your favorite.
Right, if you want to tackle this one, Carl.
Sorry, my connection was laggy.
That's okay. Do you want to read this one out, or we'll take it over?
Sure, I can do it. If you can hear me.
I can
What
hear you.
used to have wings before God took away its power of flight? Avian furs or feet petals?
I'm not entirely sure what a feet petal is.
We'll have to ask Chase, because Echo's Avian Furs wins it. That's
I
round one
don't know
done.
if I don't know if I
Round
want to
one
know
is
what
but a
feet
memory.
petals are.
Let's see those scores.
Right, who's come where? Jennifer's in the lead, followed by Echo, Jiri Husky, Corn Husky, and then like ran out of time.
Okay, round two is
Yeah,
knocking on
Blink,
the
can you miss
door.
it with the
Prompts
scores?
are a little more challenging,
Yep.
so the points are
Double the points, double the effort.
Yeah, So now TK wants to hit his word target.
Oh, now I've got a rule 6 question. That's not fair.
No. Anybody new who's not entirely sure what rule 6 is, there are rules in the Discord chat.
They bleed over to the
Their
show.
own separate thing.
Um,
Constantly accused of breaking rule 6. Wow, this is hard. Oh, we've got one in. We've got a corn husky in. 2 in. There's an echo in.
I'm in.
Yep.
Not last.
And TK.
And I didn't even use all my character limit.
Ah.
Right.
I think these are harder prompts because there weren't that many quick
No.
jump ins.
So we've got Snow's Destiny, Jennifer, and Tajiri left.
That's fine. You got 30 seconds.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Chase says he used the character limit. Oh, that's what it's there for. Right.
Time's running out. Wrap it up or use a safety quip if you have.
Oh, feet pedal, aka foot power, says Chase.
Oh.
All right, no
Sorry, I
time
thought
like
it
the
was
prep.
petal. Okay.
First, but not necessarily best, is... For some reason, they had yet to make a blank-themed Monopoly board.
Right, so for some reason, they've yet to make a chocolate-themed Monopoly
Okay,
board
make someone
or a
happy.
furry convention-themed Monopoly board. Ask us in the postcard to the usual address.
I'm just going to Google chocolate monopoly and see if that is a thing.
Chocopoly. Surely it's a thing.
It is a thing, and you can buy it. It's Christmas. Buy chocolate monopoly, kids.
Furry convention wins it. Echo's on a roll.
And next is...
I may be. I mean,
you know
I'm
it's
putting
a
lots of
slow
furry stuff
morning
in,
when
right? So.
blank is trending on
Yeah,
Twitter.
pandas are the audience. You know it's a slow morning when blank is
Time to
trending
pick
on
the one you like
Twitter.
best.
Breakfast pictures or something. That's not a slow morning. That's my Twitter feed.
It's definitely not mine.
No.
My
we
Twitter
won't
feed is
comment
very
on
different to
yours.
that.
Yeah.
And Breakfast Pictures, surprisingly, wins it.
Yeah.
I thought Dog
Everyone
Shows was
seems
on to a winner there.
No, everyone seems to like your
And
breakfast,
next,
TK.
Apparently.
your geometry teacher's favorite pickup
Oh,
line.
Jesus, no. Dad jokes.
Go on, Echo.
Your
Okay,
geometry
choose your
teacher's
favorite.
favourite pickup line. It's a square root of a triangle. Or you seem very acute. You seem very acute angle right now.
One of those is abusing geometry more than the other.
Yep.
The difference is not that great.
Chase says we're doing an NSFW TTR. We're not safe for waistlines. Chocolate Monopoly.
So the acute angles right now.
Yep.
God, that's.
You're an
Okay,
acute
what's
angle.
next?
Yep. Yep.
You
Well
know
done,
your
Chase.
mechanic
You're-
is
you're
ripping
obtuse,
you
you
off when they tell you this. All right, people, it's voting time.
How do you fancy this one?
Sure. You know your mechanic is ripping you off when they tell you this. Oh yeah, love, it's your doodad. Or when they throw the spanner in the works.
Is it going to be doodad?
It's going to be Doodad.
It is the
Unless the
doodad,
audience... Oh, wow. The audience has very much Doodadded.
Yep.
All right, check this out. The most common dating faux pas among dragons.
So, the most common dating faux
Okay,
pas amongst
everybody,
dragons
pick your
is
favorite
sneeze
quip.
fire or commenting on the wingspan.
Again, Jackbox seems to be
It knows.
tailoring questions. Yeah.
Sneezing fire currently winning. Sneezing fire wins
Oh,
it.
just.
But just. Much closer percentage.
Next up, a sort of bad thing you'd wish on your second worst enemy.
So, a sort of bad thing you'd
Time
wish
to
on
pick
your
the one
second
you like
worst enemy.
best.
Forgetfulness is bad. To lose out on a furry convention lottery. suppose it depends what you're losing on.
Well, true.
Because sometimes those lotteries have got good prizes.
Yeah.
And so far, the Frey Convention Lottery is winning. And 6 audience votes. It screams into the lead. Echo is on a roll tonight.
And now,
Echo doing the happy
He
dance.
knows his
that
audience.
everyone is
He
out
knows
to
his
get
Yes, I
you.
do. Yeah.
Well,
A good sign that everyone is out to get you.
And now it's time
The angry
to vote
mob
for
with
your
torches
favorite.
running at you, or anvils falling from the sky.
So your name is Dracula. You live in Warner Brother land.
Yep.
TK will relate to the second one.
I was going to say, either that or you posted something on Twitter, but that's Rule 16 and I'm going to shush. And the angry mob wins it. Jennifer with another super quick flash this game. Curses.
Moving
Is
right
they gonna win?
along.
Jennifer Echo show, right?
A
Okay.
good
Yep.
way to distinguish
So I feel like I'm
yourself
coming
as
in
the
second.
office bad boy. Here's the fun part. Pick your favorite quip.
Right. So, a good way to distinguish yourself as the officer's bad boy is sexy and I know it, or when you have an email to send to the fire department.
IT crowd reference.
Or someone who knows TK.
It's sexy and I know it is the winner.
Goodbye, round 2, and hello, scores.
Pause the stream at this point.
Prepare yourself.
Yep, so Jennifer
for
first, Echo
Whiplash,
second.
Where points
Token
flow
chase.
like
It's
honey.
only 2,000
You'll each
points.
receive a prompt that
Only?
requires 3
With
separate
TK.
responses.
Just a
Make me
400 points
proud.
behind. Oh god.
Right, so now we got to think.
Gosh. This
Trip
requires
flash.
thinking. Yeah.
Yes. Well, we know what Echo's plan is, so if you see anything that panders to the furry market, clearly don't vote for it, because clearly Echo is far.
Yeah, but now you've said that out loud.
Everyone was thinking it.
Yeah, but now he's going to know to not do that.
It's Echo.
You wait until after we've input answers.
Yeah.
It's lower hanging fruit for Echo. I'm sure he will be consistent.
Don't need to hear about Echo's low hanging fruit. Thank you very much.
Focus on your word target, TK. Focus on your word target.
Yep. I mean, the thing is, I have to be in the groove. I mean, I've only got like a week and a couple of days to go till I'm at a con. So, you know, I'm at vacation like next Wednesday. Yeah, next Wednesday. So.
If it's not next Wednesday, you're going to be turning up to a convention centre and wondering what's going on.
Oh, I'm not
Well, I
last
mean, it's
at least.
holiday park, so.
Tick-tock, time's almost up.
Oh, Sid panders to the ferry market. Why? What are they buying?
Went from dad jokes to furry bad dad jokes.
Yep.
We're running out of time. In
No turn
just
back now. 3 things that will happen on the best day of your life.
So, 3 things that'll happen on the best day of your life. Dove shitting the ceremony. Best man bedded the
All right,
maid.
vote for the one you like
Cake
best.
not chocolate. Or wake up refresh. Turn into my persona. Last 4 years was a dream.
2 different interpretations of
Best day of your life.
best day and things that happen.
And lots of people went with Chewy's answer. Any answer that says wake up refreshed wins it in my book.
That's people of a certain age,
The
isn't
only
it?
3
Pete?
things in life worth
Silent you.
getting mad about.
This also explains the innocent whistling from
Yep.
people in channel.
Oh, so the 3 things in life worth
Wow,
getting mad about.
enjoy the freebie.
Kornhusky wins it by default.
Yep.
And call back
3
to previous
things you'll
answers.
find in your aunt's bathroom right now.
Come on, Xavier.
3 things you'll find in your aunt's bathroom right now. Dust,
Decisions.
pink bathroom
Choose your favorite.
decorations, that mysterious green bottle, or Reader's Digest, the stinky potpourri, as if there's any other difference, and Echo's low-hanging fruit.
Wow. In your-
Okay.
In your aunt's bathroom, crikey.
As long as it's not a passion fruit, it'll be okay.
Dragon fruit, there we go.
Ooh,
Yeah.
spiky.
Oh yes.
Pineapple.
And that's Chase. And where's it going? Dust, pink button decorations, and that mysterious green bottle wins it.
Let's get to know each other.
That one's
Describe
common.
yourself in 3
There we go.
words.
Finally won something.
Yep.
Go on, Echo.
So let's get to know each other. Describe
All right,
yourself
people,
in 3
it's
words.
voting time.
Stinky, floofy, and cuddly. Retro likes TTR. Likes being the opposite sex. Fair enough.
It's like we're playing Fibbage All About You.
Yeah. Only this time we have a slight clue who the answers are,
Yeah.
rather than previous where it's like we don't.
Yep.
One of those is a lie. They don't like TTR.
I feel like I definitely played to my audience right there, don't you?
Yeah, very
Take
much
a
so.
deep breath
But
and
has that affected the
behold
score?
the final scores.
Is that how
Has
we last
Echo-
time, like?
No, not a chance.
Oh, it's only 100 points in it.
It has!
Oh,
Echo has stolen
wow.
the lead
Crikey.
to win.
I'm sensing some interesting direct messages coming your way, Echo. Oh.
Yeah, I do too.
So, top answers of the game was by hacking the vending machine. The angry mob with torches are running at you.
Do you know what? That's actually another weird thing that's just occurred to me that has just happened, is the fact that I've also just broken yet another one of those things, you know, the things that don't ever happen, which is that if I ever play this as myself, I never win. But if I play as anyone else, including not me, I have a good chance of winning. And yet, I just won as me.
You did, which makes a very pleasant change for you.
It
Go
does.
figure. Be happy.
Yeah,
Indeed.
well done.
Thank you.
Right, so while we set up the next game, Mr. Silvio or Echo, whoever's got access to the questions there, let's have a quick natter about the book that's coming out in a week's time. So everyone goes
requires-
earthly quiet for a second.
That requires jumping to the questions.
Yep.
Yes, because we did have some questions planned out in advance for this, which I've been feeding into. Well, I just set up the next Jackbox game. Anyway, time,
I want to
gentlemen.
say, I don't
Alright,
want to say
right.
you've fed them somewhere and we can't find it. But
Okay,
you've
I'll
fed them
start.
somewhere and we
Well-
can't find it.
So,
They're in the homework section.
to kick everything off, how would you describe it so I don't inadvertently go into spoiler territory? So, what would you give the overview as?
Sort of overview of the book.
Yeah.
A fantasy adventure in a world where fairy tales are history and stories are currency. A thief is approached by a mysterious woman who wants him to help her steal a kingdom. As they proceed on their adventure, he finds out that she is maybe more than she let on at first, but by the time he thinks maybe this adventure is not the right one for him, he is stuck with her and has to see it through to the end.
That's a very apt way of putting it. I have to say, this is one of the things I struggle the most about is when I've been asked to describe your stories. It's like, because I know everything that's happened. I just don't know how to summarize it into a blurb. So-
Well, right. Do they want a summary of the plot, or do they want a feel for the kind of story it is, or do they want to know what the characters are going through? There's so many different ways to talk about a book, especially a novel.
Yeah, and I never quite know what they're looking for in that regard, and it's one of the difficult questions. It's like, oh, you're writing stuff. What are you writing about? Well, young adult fantasy. There we go. That's my key word for saying it's a furry story. I'm not going to go into what furry is with you because I work with you and I don't want to talk about that right now. Thank you. But yeah, stories are currency.
Yep.
That is a thing I found very, very interesting. What inspired you to have that?
Honestly, I love fairy tales, and when I was a kid, we had like the big book of Grimm's, and we had Anderson's, and I would read through them and just loved the fantastical worlds, and how, I guess, everything was amped up in them. So even small quests turn into huge world-changing events in these fairy tales. And the more research I did for this book, the more I started reading fairy tales of other cultures, other than just European. And they were so interesting, and all I wanted to do was write more of them. And I thought, what a fun world where people just say, well, what stories do you know? What stories do I know? Let's just exchange the stories that we know. And that way I got to write 4 complete fairy tales, and then a whole bunch of other stories that come up in the flow of the narration of the book.
Yeah, my favourite one in the flow of the narration, I don't think it's going to be a spoiler if I just give the words Clever Jacob, and I'll leave it there for people to find when they get to that part of the book. That has been my favourite in the flow of the narrative story so far. And I thought that
was a fun one, and was inspired by many, many real kinds of stories.
Yeah, I was going to say, what inspired you for that? Because I read that and go, that's genius.
There's definitely, there's somewhere in the back of my mind, and not any place that I could make reference to it, a story, a similar story about tricking giants, but I don't remember it clearly enough to be able to cite it. All I could do was say something inspired that, and then I ran with that.
Yeah, just saying like tricking giants triggered something in my head, and it's like, yeah, I know I've read something like that. I just can't think where now. It's going to drive me up the wall.
Yes.
And that's what we do here on this show.
Yeah, specifically drive me up the wall, yes.
So one of the other things I've been noticing in the story, and I'm going to try and phrase this a way that doesn't give spoilers out, but it seems the same story can be told multiple ways, and everyone putting their own inflection on that. How would you like to go deeper into that without going into spoiler territory?
That is a very strong theme of the book, and is kind of related to the not metaphor, I guess, exactly, but the analogy of stories as identity. And as the main character finds out, you can tell your own story in many different ways. And the choices that you make in telling it are what influence the message that comes across to the audience. And so the same event can be at the center of like 3 different tellings of a story, which each will have a different message depending on how you choose to frame them. And similarly, as you're introducing yourself to someone, or as you are thinking about your story, your identity, the ways in which you frame it affect the way in which other people perceive you. And so the tie between stories and identity was something that I tried to hit as in many different ways as I went through the book, and demonstrating that a specific thing that happened could be told in many different ways was one way of kind of expressing that.
Okay. Xavier, Echo. Oh, Echo's gone mute.
It's gone mute. Yeah.
Well, I just want to carry on with this, but do you want to read out anything else we've got in the notes section there?
I'm still digging around trying to find it.
I think probably one of the important things we need to ask is, when is the book coming out, and how would people listening, watching best find it?
Excellent question. As it happens, I have resources for that. The book will be officially released Tuesday, November 14th. And we have, hang on, for UK listeners, there is a bookseller called the Book Badgers. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Not yet.
Their website appears to be thebookbadgers.square.site. For people in the EU, Fusselschwarm is a furry and queer comics vendor who have been to Eurofurence and other furry conventions and carry a whole lot of furry material. And they're at fusselschwarm.net. I can spell that if people want, or we can just drop the links into the chat.
We'll drop the links into the chat or into the Discord somewhere. There will be ways and means.
And then for U.S. people or other international people, Argyle Productions is the publisher, ARGYLL, and they will have the book for sale. And I believe they ship internationally. I'm pretty sure of that. Those are the furry publishers. Failing that, it will be orderable through Amazon. The ebooks will be available on baddogbooks.com, which is the furry vendor, and they should also be available on any of the main sites that people use to buy ebooks.
Excellent. And one thing I've just realised we haven't actually covered yet. What's the name of the book? How did we forget to do that?
Easily.
The name of the book is The Price of Thorns, and not The Prince of Thorns, but I have had I neglected to have a copy here with me to hold up and show on the stream, but let me see if I can ask another question, and I will try to find the cover picture on my phone somewhere.
Yeah, and I will say, when I was trying to link to the website, and for one reason or another, the website wouldn't work, so I tried Googling it, and it was just, Google, the price, there. Google just kept wanting to put in, The Prince of Thorns, and it's like, no, Price of Thorns, Price of Thorns, Noah, take it away. Which wasn't helpful.
I've had many people make that mistake. So I'm sure it will happen a lot. But let's see.
But yes, so while finding out the pictures, so the cover art, I actually really quite liked, and because you're looking at it going, what does this mean? And then as you read, obviously the meaning comes apparent. What brought you to that specific cover art?
Let's see. Here it is. Let's see if this shows up at all on the chat.
Oh, yep,
right.
That does show up. Yep.
Not super clear, but that's what it looks like.
It looks 3D. That's actually quite a cool effect on the camera.
That was an option, but we didn't pay for it. We because we were hoping to get some interest outside the furry fandom, we hired a book designer who designs for science fiction and fantasy books in general, and has a good sense of what would be an attractive cover in that market. And I gave them some of the critical elements of the book, and they put together a really nice draft of a cover. and we went back and forth about 4 or 5 times, and we ended up on this cover, which I do quite like. Where possible, especially for books that are targeted towards the furry fandom, I try to have furry artists do the covers. Like, we try to keep all this stuff in the fandom as we can.
Yep. That's something I'm going to be looking into eventually when I actually get something past the first draft stage. And it was something I've always wanted, because I've seen loads of people say, oh yeah, just use Fiverr or something if you're looking for something quick and simple. And I'm going, but I try and like to keep it in fandom if I can. Oh, I need to keep remembering to put the camera back. There we go. So I'm trying to keep it in fandom if possible, but sometimes that's easier said than done, trying to track down the correct artist for what you're looking for. But then I suppose...
That's very true.
And I suppose I bet every artist has their own stories, just like the stories of our characters.
Yep.
Right.
I'm lucky enough to have been able to work with a whole number of different talented artists over the course of my career, and so I have a relationship with some of them. My manager Rat has brought me a copy of the book that I can hold up and show you. So nice. The cover looks a little better there.
Wow. Oh, right. I do like it.
There we go.
I'm looking forward to holding that one day, as opposed to just the PDF version. Right then, people who want to, people who have access to the cast chat, if we all have a gander in there, you'll find the room code for the next game. It should be up and ready so that people who can get in want to get in, and then we'll open it up for the main public. And so, just to basically go over something we've already covered, but the release date of the book is coming out on when? Just to remind people.
Tuesday, November 14th, a week from tomorrow.
Week from tomorrow. So there you go. So,
or depending on what I don't know what time it is there. It's not midnight yet there, is it?
Not yet, no. It's about 10:15. So we'll have time to squeeze in a quick game of Fibbage. Right. Right. Everyone appears to be in who wants to be in, so... But yes, no, thank you. I have been thoroughly enjoying the book so far, and I will continue to be thoroughly enjoying it and letting it thoroughly distract me from NaNoWriMo until I get this thing done.
Thank you so much. I always love to hear that. You would maybe think that after 40 books, there isn't anxiety about how the next one is going to be released, but you would be incorrect, at least in my experience.
Now, I'm going to say to everyone, when it comes out, I thoroughly recommend purchasing it and giving it a jolly good read. I mean, I know people like Tajiri are going to do that probably anyway, but for those thinking, I don't know if it's really my thing, read it. Oh my God, read it. Because I wasn't sure. I've read it, or most of it, and oh my God, I want more. But yes, that is... I'm going to stop gushing now before I embarrass myself even further, and we will move on to the next game, which will be a little bit of Fibbage.
We've now reached the audience participation portion of the show. It's game time.
And so our room code for Fibbage 4 is XWSI. The jury is in.
I managed to get in this time.
Excellent. And Shades is in. Hello, Shades. And Southington's in. Right, so people who didn't get it in, you still have the option of joining the audience. That is the joy of these Jackbox games. Even if you're not on the main, you can still participate. But we will start the show.
It's time for Fibbage 4. I'm Cookie Masterson, the first man to ever truly see the night sky. Take it up with NASA, nerds. 8 players, 8 friends, 8 human beings to defraud. And if you're stuck on the sidelines, why not join the audience? Audience members earn points by guessing the truth and fooling the players with their lies. Let's play. This is round 1. I'm handing out 500 points for each player you fool with your lie. And you'll get 1,000 for finding the truth. All right. right, choose a category.
Come on, TK.
Sorry.
Pope culture.
Still on the first one I saw.
Question 1. Grab the kids. There was an accident on Route 35 in Cherokee County, Alabama, where an 18-wheeler spilled 20 tons of blank across the road. Now, write a lie on your device that the other players might think is true. If you can't think of something, press the lie for me button for half the points. Okay, go.
I do like fibbage because the host does most of the talking for us. So, got to think of a lie. There was an accident on Route 35 in Cherokee County, Alabama, where an 18-wheeler spilled 20 tons of what across the road?
There's a lot of things that could be 20 tons off.
I expect someone's already said this, but it seemed like a convincing lie at the time.
Here are your choices. Tap the one you think is true on your device.
Alright, so we've got the option of chicken fingers, cheese, Amazon packages, beer, Vaseline, Jack Daniels, butter, creamed corn, horse manure, or J-Lube.
Some of these I don't even want to imagine 20 tons off.
How long would it take to get through 20 tons of Vaseline?
A lifetime.
Really chapped lips.
Yeah, chapped lips. Yeah, yes. Go
Yes.
with that.
Exactly that.
Moments of truth.
I mean, what, one con season maybe?
Creamed corn. Garlico and Southington went for it, and it was the jury's lie. Vaseline. The jury went for it, and it was Carl's lie. That's 1-1 on that count. Horse manure. Token Jason Squid went for it, and it was Shade's lie. Well done, Shade. Some good points. Beer. Half the audience went for it. It was my lie.
Are we going to miss the actual answer? I think we might.
Jack Daniels. I went for it. Oh, it was Token Chaser's lie. Yeah, we've missed the answer. Cheese. Oh no, Shades went for it. It was Squid's lie. Just when you think it's going to find the truth. Chicken fingers. The other half of the audience went for it. And now we find the truth.
And of course, my nephew just ate one and said he was full.
So, what 20 tons of chicken fingers?
I don't want to know.
It's a light snack.
Well, I am doing much worse this time.
The jury is screaming into the lead
What's
so
our
far.
next category?
Yeah.
Shades, categories all yours.
Some interesting categories there.
Smart solutions.
Give this one a shot. Innovation. Jinan China has found a way to eradicate as much as 50 tons of restaurant food waste a day by simply giving the food to blank. Write your lies now.
I'm wondering how close to Rule 6 we're going to be getting with some of these answers.
Probably quite.
The rules are there to be broken, right?
No!
No!
That's where I've been going wrong all my life.
Well, you haven't got a speeding ticket yet, so you're obviously doing something right.
I
Two
don't know
left.
I don't know, don't be so sure about that.
Okay.
I haven't currently, but...
Well, I stand to be corrected in the future. Right, everyone has lied.
Touch wood.
There you go. Find the truth.
So, Jen China's found a way to eradicate as much as 50 tons of restaurant food waste every day by simply giving the food to biofuel companies, pig farms, Echo's Puppy Bowl, feral pigs, pandas, chronically poor furry artists, a panda sanctuary, the CCP to redistribute, cockroaches, or foxes. Alright. But I know the answer I prefer. It's probably going to be wrong, but...
So do I, 'cause I'm very hungry right now.
You want your ball
Well,
filled?
we've gone from chicken tendies to
To restaurant
filling
waste.
Echo's
see what
bowl.
everybody
Yeah,
picked.
well, restaurant waste.
Feral
I
Pigs.
also managed to.
Squid and Southington. The jury's lie. What are you going to say, Echo?
I was gonna say I just managed to miss dinner before the show.
Five Fuel Companies. Echo and Shades went for it, and it was the audience's lie. I very nearly went for that, so I'm glad I didn't.
So some sensible answers.
Pig Farms. The audience went for it, and it was Squid's lie. And good night, Jennifer. Panda Sanctuary. I went for it, and it was Shades' lie. Jennifer is off to bed, so good night, Jennifer. Cockroaches. Token Chase and Tajiri went for it, and it was the truth. What?
The cockroaches in a Chinese cockroach farm were then used
It's a
for
way of
everything
getting
from
rid of it.
livestock feed to ingredients in cosmetics and medicine.
Wow.
The circle of life.
Blimey.
Oh,
Would you like to see your cosmetics made with cockroaches? The jury has quite a commanding lead so far.
Doing very
Roll
well
off the
this round.
dust. It's time to look into the past.
oh no. Oh.
It's a very interesting dead person round.
Queen of the murder mystery, Agatha Christie, was pretty groundbreaking. In fact, she is believed to be one of the first British blank. Answer your lies now.
Quite appropriate. It's a question about writers. Queen of the murder mystery, Agatha Christie was pretty groundbreaking. In fact, she's believed to be one of the first British. What?
Now, the real question is who puts furry down first? This has stumped everyone. There's two in.
Three
Three
in. I'm in. I've probably misspelled my answer though. Running out of time, people. No pressure. Oh, only one person left.
Boy, it's been a while since I looked up Agatha Christie. I can't remember half the facts.
Everyone's in.
Come on now, let's get truthy.
So, Agatha Christie was the first British female author, shoe designer, Scientologist, plagiarist, divorcee, winners of the Ursa Major Awards, surfers, millionaires, coffee drinkers, or TigerTails Radio scriptwriter. Well, one of those answers is quite sus.
Little bit, isn't it?
I don't know, how old is your show?
We've been going since the 20th of January 2004, so a little bit after her time.
Okay, how do we do?
So, Scientologist, Squid went for it. And it was Shade's lie. Female authors. Tucker Jason Eudes went for it. And it was the jury's lie. Plagiarists. The jury went for it. And it was Squid's lie. That's just rude. Divorcee. Al went for it. And it was Echo's lie. Millionaires. The Selfish Shades and Southington went for it. And it was Carl's lie. Dang, that was a good lie. Surfers. Echo went for it. And it's the truth. What?
Oh, what?
Wow.
Echo, what did you know?
I may have read it
written
somewhere.
an Agatha Christie type story, and I didn't know that.
I don't know why I read it somewhere. I don't know. I think it might have been. It might have been down in Cornwall, actually, when we went on holiday. I'm sure I read it somewhere.
Oh, really?
All the
I
points
didn't.
are
Yeah,
doubled.
Yeah. One of those weird facts that I just retained. you
Even
know.
Pub Chase is
Choose
like,
a
what the
category.
F? Southington, your category. Oh, there's Yellow Brick Road, Quick Outfits, Golfing, Discoveries, Greedy Criminals.
Oh, forget it.
Oh, never mind.
Apparently learnt to surf prone in South Africa, then in Waikiki.
Oh, there you
Let's see
go.
what we got.
Wow.
Science. In 2021, paleontologist Jakob Winter and his team in China discovered a perfectly preserved blank. Okay, enter those lies.
Back in China then, right? Okay.
Yep.
So is it going to be furry related? Is it going to be Rule 6 adjacent? Or both? Is Echo thinking of a dirty answer? I think the answer is yes.
No, never. Never a dirty answer.
Not with that
good
grin.
boy.
Not with that grin blasted across your face, boy.
I'm a good, clean boy. Sweet and innocent, honest.
You're a good clean boy after we hose you down. Yes,
Spot
absolutely.
Yeah.
the truth.
Cold shower. Right, so in 2021, paleontologist Jacob Winter and his team in China discovered a perfectly preserved woolly mammoth fursuit, a dinosaur butthole, a Forgotten Realms fursuit, is that quite old? Pot noodle, fortune cookie, walnut, coprolite, Ming vase, bad dragon fled chase, or giant American beaver. Quite what that's doing in China, we're not sure, but no, that could be why they discovered it there.
Oh,
I know which ones I'm not voting for, let's put it that way.
it's not a dildo. It's never a dildo. There
Never
we
a
go.
dildo.
Just
Oh,
remember,
giant
put your
ancient
answer.
beaver, sorry, I can't read.
But there aren't any dildos in that answer. In those answers.
Walnut, Kyle, Squid, and half the audience went for it, and it was Shade's lie. Fortune cookie, half the audience went for it. It was Token Chase's lie.
Oh, it's going to be a terrible answer.
Stop abusing
isn't it, in
stereotypes.
reality?
Coprolite, TigerTails Radio went for it, and it was Squid's lie. Curses. Giant ancient beaver. Chase, Shades, and Tuthington went for it, and it was the audience's lie.
Good audience lie.
A dinosaur butthole. Echoes, non-surprisingly, went for it. Oh my god, it was the truth.
Oh, what?
Scientifically known as the cloacal vent, it was used for pooping, peeing, reproducing,
I just
egg
went with
and a number of dig
most
site
ridiculous
pranks, I'm
answer.
sure.
Hands up. Who
I thought
thinks...
that was your answer.
Yeah, hands up who thinks they're watching us now. I'm fairly sure they're watching us now.
Definitely.
And the jury, Ming Vase, is now... Oh, actually,
Time for
I
my
think he might have been
break.
beaten.
Someone else host this one.
I think I'm running a close second, I think.
Oh, it's Fibbage Fan Fact. We've never had this round before.
And now our feature presentation.
Stream.
Oh god, it's a video. What do we do?
I'm Thomas
Watch the
from
video.
Forest Hills, New York. And while we have a lot of real history, there is a plaque and monument to commemorate a fictional blank that occurred here.
Okay, there's a fictional blank that
All
occurred
right,
in where he
type in
lives.
your lies.
Hi Thomas, thank you for being on today's show.
Right, so currently, Shades is in the lead by 10 points, followed by Tajiri.
Ooh, Shades has overtaken.
Gwyd is third, with Echo fourth. Although the audience apparently is doing rather well as well, but we'll ignore the audience. I'm Thomas from Forest Hills, New York, and while we have a lot of real history, there is a plaque and a monument to commemorate a fictional blank that occurred here.
Right, I have an answer.
Forest Hills.
My answer is based on reality, but it got accepted as a lie, so it's obviously not the right answer.
Okay, find the truth.
Character death.
So we have railroad accident, character death, nuclear war, clean and safer work ferry convention. Do they happen? Battle, animal wedding, murder, Pizza Hut recipe, tennis match, or robot battle.
Oh, there's some good answers. I want to
right,
say
mate.
this one.
I'm going to put this one, if it's the one I'm thinking of. Oh no, wait, that was actually based on a real event. It wasn't an accident.
Come
Okay.
on, show me what you picked.
Right, accent. Okay, loads of us chose it, and it's going to be Southington's Lie.
It's a lie.
Of course it is.
Yep.
You
Yeah, of
should
course it is.
lie professionally.
Right, Animal Wedding. Squid went for it. It was Shade's Lie. Battle. Token Chase and Southington went for it. It was Carl's Lie. Tennis Match. Carl Shades and Audience went for it.
There's a plaque to commemorate a fictional tennis match. The Forest Hill Stadium was built in the 1920s, and it's where Richie Tenenbaum had the worst match of his life in the Royal Tenenbaums.
And Tennis Match was the truth.
That is bizarre.
That is bizarre. Kind of cool, though. I put Character Death, because I just remember the Shine to Ianto Jones that is currently on display in Cardiff. And Shades is now in the lead.
Nice.
Time to
There
pick
seems to be a lot of
category.
things in Forest Hills.
Carl, choose a category. We have Olympic events, gambling, traffic jams. And it's gambling.
How
We'll
about
do some
this?
gambling.
Why not?
Due to a homophone, that's a word that sounds like another word. Superstitious Chinese gamblers would never place a bet around someone who
back
is
to China
blank.
again.
We are.
Submit your lies now.
So, due to a homophone, suspicious Chinese gamblers would never place a bet around someone who is what?
Each of two or more words having the exact same pronunciation but different meanings.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
now
there,
I
there,
have.
and there.
Now I have understood. Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's whatever sounds like the Chinese word for unlucky or something.
Probably, yeah. That would make sense.
They've got a lot of superstitious stuff, which is really interesting to look into. Oh, Echo's blowing bubbles. Okay.
I have no idea.
You're not doing that badly in the game, Echo.
No.
But you're earning points.
Still two people left to get an answer in. One person. Oh, well, I think they got it.
There we go.
Time to seek the
I
truth.
just like blowing bubbles. I mean, the fact that I actually have a bubble blowing thing, like literally right next to my desk, is ridiculous. But
As I said, Michael Jackson would like to have words. So, due to homophone superstitions, Chinese gamblers who would never place a bet around someone who is lucky, hiccuping, F, wearing jeans, reading a book, some young guy, cheeky, wearing blue,
oh dear.
an author, fat, or wearing a hat.
People have put believable lies. Well, most of them.
Oh, actually, I need to vote on that, don't I? Okay, that one.
I've got a choice of two. I'm thinking it's that one. I'm thinking
All
it's
right,
that
who
one.
picked what?
So, wearing a hat. Myself and Chase went for it. It was Carl's lie. F's in chat. Fat, Squid, and half the audience went for it. And it was the jury's lie. Wearing blue. The jury, Shades, and half the audience went for it. And it was my lie. Good. I needed some points.
Good one.
Hiccuping. Carl went for it. It was the audience's lie. I get some points.
Don't tell me it's the other one.
Reading a book. Echo in Southington found the truth.
In Chinese, the word for book sounds like the word for to lose. So
I am
let's see which
convinced they're
player
watching
is
us as we
probably
play this
going
game now.
Book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stu was like, how dare you, TK, to trick me with wearing blue. I knew red was a lucky colour for them, so I just assumed blue might not be. And therefore they might be adverse to it.
Hey,
Oh, is
the
the
guest is in the lead.
It's time for the final fibbage. A two-part question worth triple the
Although
points.
final round, so this could change everything.
Don't
Yeah.
blow it.
Where the scores can really change.
Young-Mun of the Hyoan Healing Center helps Koreans
We have
by
had a
letting
couple
them
of games where they
experience
have swapped.
blank. And
Last and first.
in 2019, Celine Dion begged Drake on iHeartRadio Canada to not get a tattoo of blank. Now you're going to write one lie that sounds like it might fit in either of these two blanks. That's double the chance to fool your fellow players. Make it good, and it might get picked for both blanks and earn you a bonus. Sound good? Don't worry.
Oh no, that is the question. What is with China today?
Nothing. This is Korea this time.
Oh, it's Korea. Okay. Right, 2019, Celine Dion begged Drake on iHeartRadio Canada to not get a tattoo or blank.
Well, it hasn't told me mine is the truth yet, so that's a good sign. I've put a correct lie in.
Good.
Let them experience blank.
Right. Quite a few answers in so far. Nice to go.
I don't think this is a double answer. It's one answer's the double.
You're halfway through your time. Make me proud.
Same answer, both.
Yeah, we've seen that once. Most of the time we've played this, it's been different answers.
No, it's different answers, but we got to provide a lie that sounds like it could be plausible for either of them.
Either. Yeah.
We've seen one question it was both.
I don't think so.
I thought we
If you can
did.
find the archive, then
That would require me to go back through large amounts of video.
yes, it would. That's why I suggest you do it.
Okay, here's what you're working with. These questions have two different truths, but
So,
we'll focus on this one
The
first.
answers are
Guess
the Titanic,
truth for just this
puppies.
question now.
her face, yoga, pop play, hello Echo, childbirth, roller coaster, strippers, their own funeral, their face, a bird wedding. There's a lot of face to start with.
Oh, you've got to say face.
Okay.
This is where we discover that they were actually talking about pup
Time to
play
deal
back
with
in
this one.
2019.
Find the truth for just this question now.
Oh, we can't mention about that on a furry radio station.
Helps Koreans by letting them experience what?
It's the Titanic.
How do you experience the Titanic?
Don't know.
It's probably the correct answer now we've mentioned it.
Blub, 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 blub. There you go. Experienced.
Strippers, letting them experience strippers.
Or worse,
Okay, what
childbirth.
everybody pick?
Yeah.
So you know the answer to one of these,
Their
but
face was
not both of them.
Yeah, their face was answered for the first one by myself, and it was Echo's lie. The Titanic. Shades picked it for the second answer, and it was Chase's lie.
Being mean now.
Childbirth happened for the first question and the second question by Southington and half the audience, and it was Shade's lie. Double deception.
We call this lateral thinking.
That's a lot of bonus points.
Nice.
Nice.
A lot of bonus points.
Yoga. No one went for it for the first one. I went for it for the second one. It was Southington's lie.
Oh god, we're reducing sensible answers now.
Her face. Lots of people went for it the first one for the second. And it was the truth for the first one. Her own funeral. 2 people went for the first one, loads of people went for the second.
No.
And it was also the truth.
Oh my god.
If Drake was cremated, we'd lose two beautiful faces.
Wow.
I don't even want to know how they'd experience their own funeral. Oh, I came so
Well,
last.
It was that or strippers, TK, so I'm not entirely sure what would have been worse.
And Shades does a win.
Nice job.
Very nice job. And Shades also gets the most likes. Well, that's just been hogging all the up. And audience gets ranked 5th. We've seen worse.
Okay, I'll take second. First in the first one and second in the second one. So
Not bad. Now I get third, then the jury, Southington, Squid, Token Chase. The jury, the audience, Southington, Squid, Token Chase, and then myself, propping up the bottom of the list. Nobody liked my lies.
say nothing about you being bottom, ATK.
Well, I wouldn't want to deny you the position, darling. So, Let's get the main camera back up. There we go. Oh, we're here. Lovely, which does bring us quite neatly to the end. So, Mr. Carl, is there anything else you would like to mention, plug, any of your socials or anything like that, or where can we find you? Wait.
Yes. Given the sort of deterioration of a whole lot of the social media sphere at the moment, the best place to keep up with me is on kylegold.substack.com, where I put out a 3 times a month, I'll put out a newsletter, I'll put out a spotlight of a book that either I've written and is coming out or one that I'm interested in. And then I also answer writing questions. Sometimes they're ones I pose myself. Sometimes I'll throw questions out on usually Mastodon, but I'm also on Twitter and Blue Sky and sometimes there as well. And in fact, the book that you were talking about, Do You Need Help, which is available only on Bad Dog Books and it's free,
Yep.
is compiled from a bunch of writing tips that I had answered in previous newsletters. I'm on Twitter as Kyle Gold. I'm on Blue Sky as kylegold.bsky.social. I'm on Mastodon as kylegold@furries.club. And yeah, I think that's it. It's been really lovely chatting and playing games with all of you. And again, I'm so grateful for the invitation and the chance to hang out here.
No, it's been wonderful to have you down, and thank you very much for coming and playing games with us. I really didn't think we'd be able to get things that secure. I'm really glad we did, and it's been an absolutely wonderful time having you here. And when you get your next book coming along, if we're still going by then feel free to drop by again. I'll be more than happy to have you. Oh, hello, who's popped up there?
I'd love to. Thanks so much.
No, that is a pleasure. Right, on that note, let's bring it back to me. And so we have our own socials. We are at TigerTails Radio on Twitter and also on Facebook for the one person who still uses that. Thank you, Mr. Xavier, for updating that one for us. We also have the at TigerTails Radio on Blue Sky as well. No Mastodon as of yet, but I'm thinking about finding a server for it. There is also the Telegram channel. There is obviously the Discord channel that's linked to in the description, and our website of tigertailsradio.co.uk, where all of the links discussed tonight will be in there within the next few hours as soon as I can get it all updated. But I think it's that's it for everyone here. So
Yes.
it is. So where's Echo gone?
His camera's down.
One sec. Yeah, my Discord just decided to just die.
Did you break the internet? Lovely. Well, in that case, we'll say good night from the Xavier.
Maybe.
Good night, all.
There we go. And a good night from the Echo.
Good night, everybody.
And a good night from the Carl.
Good night, everyone.
Right. And it's a good night for myself, TK. Thank you very much for watching and listening to this episode of TigerTails Radio. We shall be back next Monday at 8:30 UK PM in UK time, which is GMT now. I can actually say GMT at last. Yay! And for more fun, frolic, shenanigans, and reviews, and done and dusted, and things like that. But until then, it is night-night, everybody. Night-night. Quick, awkward wave while I find the engine go, because I've forgotten to do it again. I will get this done right.